I just had a lovely walk along the front here in Sa Coma, and we've just come around the headland and we're going to head to Illot. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, it's the next bay around and it looks really quite pretty. Here we are, we can see the fishermen again. It's a little bit more rocky, at least to start with here, and we've had a bit of breeze, so the waves, certainly in the distance, are crashing against the rock. This part of the beach doesn't look to be one for sunbathing or swimming for that matter. It might be a bit too rocky and certainly a little bit rough at the moment, but a little bit further on in the distance you can see a sandy beach. But just like Sa Coma, it looks to be very, very quiet. So we'll see. The temperature's still very warm, mid-20s easily. It's quite warm for walking, and no tourists at all here. It's really, really quiet. And if you look on the other side, see places closed up, and just as we've come out of Sa Coma, we've seen that the workers have already started their winter renovations, which is the correct time to do it. It's when all these things should be happening. See a white cormorant out there.
Down there.
So for us, it's half term. Our half term is a week later than the usual UK ones, really to coincide with the 1st of November, which in Spain is a public holiday. So quite often our half term is chosen so as it takes in that public holiday. There are some shops here, and maybe they're just getting ready to open. Actually, it's still quite early in the morning, and maybe they will be opening later on. But the hotels are clearly all closed up. Big hotel in front of me here, and they've got bags over the lights there just to protect them a little bit from the rain in the winter time. I'm never really convinced it does any good whether they actually survive the winter, but they always put plastic bags over the lamps. Maybe it stops insects getting in. Other than that, I really can't see what it does. And those don't look to be tied up very securely at all, they look very loose. But they've always done it here, so it must provide something. Love the sound of the sea, especially when it's crashing against the rocks, which it does just here. The gardener's out, looking after the grass over there. Actually quite reminiscent of the height of the pandemic, when tourists were not here, yet the weather was wonderful and we were going to beaches and there was nobody here. have exactly that now. We seem to have wonderful weather and no tourists when doing it. And we just recorded the warmest October on record, and so far November is looking to be pretty similar. I'm just looking up the road there. I can actually see some chairs outside a bar, so maybe we'll find somewhere for a coffee later on if we walk back that way. See a Coca-Cola lorry and a San Miguel lorry. Got to be a good sign, hasn't it? Must be making deliveries. The restaurant they're delivering to looks as though it might be under construction, so it's not such a good sign. Watching an aeroplane going over, which is a search and rescue plane. So early on we saw this grey aeroplane flying quite low, and it did turn over us, and as it was going past you could see it was a SAF, which is one of the search and rescue aeroplanes. It seems to have moved down the coast a little bit, so could well be just a training exercise. Oh, that's a nice use of tyres to protect cars as they bump into them. Plenty of parking though, no problem parking. Well, we found a bar that's open, or at least got the tables out. It's not actually open yet, but the tables are here, so we can assume that they're going to open later on. A bit too early. We've only just had breakfast, and it was a hearty breakfast too. We were staying at a hotel in Calamillo, and an excellent breakfast. So maybe tomorrow morning.
There was even Fresnay and squid rings. Not that I had any.
No, but you could have had champagne for breakfast. We did see one or two people having champagne for breakfast. And there were plenty of bottles of it there. So it reminds me, we stayed at another hotel. It doesn't actually exist now. They've just knocked it down the north of the island from until we went down for breakfast, and there was a couple that had champagne for breakfast. That's all they had, just glass after glass after glass of champagne. And breakfast runs from 8 o'clock to 11. We took a lot of champagne in that time.
Nice little bridge here to go over.
That's interesting. Looks like you've got a major river until you see that there's none of the water's actually going into the sea. A bit of a sandbar at the end there. But the water here is probably a haven for wildlife. And this is going to be salty water for sure. We've got some ducks down there. Pretty promenade. Oh, there's even more on the other side. Let's go over there, over the bridge.
This is
down here. What have we got? Definitely some ducks in the water down there. And, quite a lot more birds just sunning themselves on the beach. Again, we've got the local council workers working, pruning the trees here. So the work doesn't stop just because the tourists are no longer here. Head back more towards the promenade. I don't think that's a hotel. Is that a hotel or is that's apartments? I think it's apart hotels, is it? There's definitely people staying there. And just by looking at the beach here, we can see the tracks where they've been on with a tractor, and they use that to level it all out and just clean it up. But then during the winter time, the storms will bring in the seaweed, and they'll probably just leave the seaweed on the beach, and that is then protecting the sand underneath. And then just before the season starts, they'll remove the seaweed, but the seaweed will probably stay on the beach all through the winter. Just adds just that protection. And it looks as though they've only just taken up the parasols because they're still here on the beach. And the parasols are just here waiting for a truck to pick them up and take them away. Again, there's a lifeguard station, but no lifeguard. And actually on this beach there's very, very few people, so it doesn't really matter. And this is the hotel club, Illot, and this is open. And there's a terrace outside.
Stop and have a coffee soon.
Here's loads more of the beach umbrellas, so the beds have gone first and the beach umbrellas will go later. Pleasant walk here on the east coast. So the east coast of Mallorca is an area we really over the years have very much neglected. It's more than an hour's drive for us, and an hour's drive there and an hour's drive back.
All day.
Takes up much of the day, so yeah, so we tended not to do it very often. Last year, was it last year we went to Arcta?
It was, yes.
Yeah, we had a lovely time up there, which is just a little bit further north from where we are now, and we began to discover some of the areas around there. That was really pretty, really enjoyed that. I think we've probably still got a lot to see around that particular area. But coming down the coast now to Majorca and Sa Coma and now Illot. We've still got to do Calabona, so that's on our list, and then we'll see where else we've got time on our short stay here this November. So it's this November the 2nd, and the season's ended. Chiringuito across the way is not open, but there's loads of chairs outside, so I guess there's a slight possibility that may open up later on. Pub 57. Tables are all out. Unfortunately, what I am seeing is a lot of dog mess.
Just look at that beautiful coast sea over there.
But yeah, we're coming towards the end now of the bay of Illot, and just walking along here, we've got a beautiful view of that bay. We're actually nicely in the shade here. Dive centre up the way there, so isn't that a pretty bay? There's a few clouds in the sky, but they're in the distance and the sun's shining where we are, so we can enjoy it. There's a lone paddleboarder out there and 2 adventurous swimmers getting into the sea. And just here we have the Tourist Information Office, which isn't offering much information today. Curious, as we could see in the distance, a lot of boats. They look like the typical Mallorquin yacht, and looks like they have to be lowered into the water along a very steep slipway. Someone down there working on the boat. All of these are out of the water and they're on a hard standing. No port here as such, but a lot of boats. All the boats have to be lowered into the water and then hoisted out again, I guess. And the walkway goes on. Really pretty walkway along here. Very quiet. Relatively flat. There's a little bit of a hill, but really quite easy going. Just beautiful views as you walk along. Oh, there's that plane again. Just going over, heading out to the sea. Let's see if we can spot where it's going to.
We're playing bulls here. Petanca, is it?
Petanca. Yeah. Aeroplane is actually heading straight out to sea.
It's really hot.
It's pretty warm, isn't it? Bull or petanca, very popular actually here in Spain. I think of it more of a French game, but notice these different parts of the island are actually set up to play. It's something the locals enjoy doing. Plane's disappeared into the distance, I can't even see it anymore. Very rocky here now. It's a really rocky coastline there. Sharp rocks. Pretty to look at, not very good for swimming. There's lots of overhangs here. Easy to get trapped under and get yourself smashed against the rocks. Well, we seem to have walked for quite a way, and there is still further to go, but we're just desperate for a drink. So we're going to see if we can find somewhere to have a coffee. Anyway, thanks very much for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you in our next video. Bye for now.
Bye.